Good evening. Welcome to the QCIS channel. We're on this channel, you get a daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. My name is Leon Jones, and tonight I'm going to talk about MS4 permits. Now, when you're on construction projects, there are environmental concerns that must be addressed. So, when that occurs, then there's a permit. Now, I'm going to give you some information straight from the book, my state of Indiana, from IDEM, the Indiana Department of Environmental Management. And what I'm going to go over with is Stormwater 101. This is an actual partnership from Elkhart County. And in Elkhart County, you have the city of Elkhart, Goshen, I believe Mishawaka is also in Elkhart County. And the learning objectives that I'm going to talk about is, okay, what is the Greater Elkhart County Stormwater Partnership? What is stormwater? What is an MS4? And why is managing stormwater important? The Greater Elkhart County Stormwater Partnership, again, what is an MS4 and how does it work? Okay. When we deal with MS4, if we're working on state roads or maybe on county roads, you hear the term about discharging pollution. That's NPDES. Well, MS4 stands for Municipal Separate Storm Sewer Systems. And for this, we're dealing with the partnership of the city of Elkhart, the city of Goshen, the town of Bristol, Elkhart County. And you can find all this information in the Elkhart County Soil and Water Conservation District. The guidance documentation. Well, the Federal Clean Water Act requires stormwater discharges from certain types of urbanized areas to be permitted under the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System. That's known as NPDES. Now, in November 1990, EPA began phase one of its stormwater program, requiring states to develop regulatory programs to address pollution issues associated with stormwater. Today, stormwater phase two has been established to reduce the impacts of stormwater runoff from construction, industrial, municipal, governmental, and institutional sources. So basically, the storm water rules, which are general, or we can say the general storm water rules, are found in 325 IAC 15, Article 15, and that's in Indiana. So in August 2003, 327 IAC 15-13, Rule 13 established requirements for designated MS4 entities to develop local stormwater quality management plans. Now, the SWQMP, what it's going to address, you have a 6-inch minimum when it comes to control measures through the SWQMP. Or I'd say you have 6 steps. First, it's public education and outreach, public participation and involvement, illicit discharge detection and elimination, construction site runoff control, post-construction site runoff control, pollution prevention, and good housekeeping. Rule 5, SWIPs. Now, SWIP is a stormwater pollution prevention plan. Again, this is in 327 IAC 15-5, aka Rule 5. It is a performance-based state regulation designed to reduce pollutants that are associated with construction and or land disturbing activities. Long story short, so I can give you an example. If someone disturbs more than 1 acre of soil while developing land, not agriculture, they are required by state rule, and they must have a storm water and controlled erosion prevention plan in place. Now, again, the MS4 coordinator for each entity has the ability to stop construction until problems are resolved. The most common complaint from construction sites in Elkhart County is sediment on a roadway from heavy equipment tires. The take-home point is that someone is watching when soil gets disturbed and move around. Again, here's the link at the bottom. Now, let me go up, see if there are any other notes up here. No other notes up here. And I'm gonna go right down and move on. Okay. So we talked about MS4. So let's talk about what is stormwater. Stormwater is water that originates from precipitation events such as snow melt or runoff. Stormwater is urban, agriculture, rainfalls everywhere. Now, stormwater is a term used to describe water that originates during precipitation events. It may also be used to apply to water that originates with snow melt or runoff from overwatering that enters the stormwater system. Stormwater that does not soak into the ground becomes runoff, or we call it surface runoff, which either flows directly into surface waterways or it is channeled into storm sewers, ditches, culverts, which eventually discharge to surface waters. Stormwater is of concern for two main issues. One related to the volume and timing of runoff water, flood control and water supplies, and the other related to potential contaminants that the water is carrying. Example, water pollution. Now, stormwater, what do we do about it? Well, control flooding. It's by installing, cleaning, and maintaining stormwater infrastructure such as curbs and gutters, street inlets, pipes, ditches, culverts, detention ponds, etc. Regulate development. Again, I say regulate development by setting design standards, providing technical guidance, reviewing plans for developing and redevelopment by inspecting construction sites and enforcing regulations. And then we can say prevent pollution by educating the public, implementing clean water programs, inspecting and monitoring runoff, complying with federal and state regulations, and enforcing water quality standards set by the Clean Water Act. Again, under significant rainfall conditions, stormwater is the cause of flooding, water pollution, and erosion. So for the safety of the public and for the protection of the public and private property, stormwater must be properly managed. So stormwater provided by the Greater Elkhart County Stormwater Partnership is a very important responsibility. All right, controlling runoff equals controlling stormwater. Three types of runoff that contribute to controlling stormwater are rural runoff, and that's rural, which is way out in the country, rural runoff, urban runoff, and suburban runoff. And if you look at this slide here, man-made water problems, unregulated urban industrial areas can contribute to heavy metal and toxic pollutants. You have carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide. You have pesticides, mercury, carbon tetrachloride, taste and odor, phosphates. And can you believe pollute at home with fertilizers, phosphates, and even your litter as well? Lawn and garden chemicals, yes. PCBs, naphtha, long-lasting toxins, And did you also know that sediment and fertilizers and other chemicals are a result of farming, even with pervious soils? And we have chlorine, mercury, arsenic, carbon dioxide, insecticides, fertilizers again, lawn and garden materials. I mentioned that earlier, nitrates, and herbicides. Again, rural, suburban, urban, and industrial runoff estimates. Industrial and urban have the most runoff and the smallest amount of infiltration. You can see by the charts up here. Let's see if I can make it bigger. See, this is urban, 0 to 20% infiltration. This is rural, 0 to 20%. This is more or less, it's not industrial. I'm going to say it's country, 10 to 30%, but look at the infiltration. So as you get to the more populated areas, and this is why you have to interpret data. You have a lot of runoff here in the suburban areas to have less infiltration. But when you get out to the less dense populated areas, you have less runoff but more infiltration. Urban runoff. Here's the logical hydraulic cycle. Hydrologic cycle. You have evapotranspiration, surface runoff, interflow, base flow, canopy interception. That's before construction. And after construction, you have the same thing, but you're going to have more surface runoff, less interflow, less base flow. Now, urban runoff, again, is surface runoff or rainwater created by urbanization. This runoff is a major source of water pollution in many parts of the United States and other urban communities worldwide. Impervious surfaces such as roads, parking lots, and sidewalks are being constructed during land development. So basically, during rainstorms and other participation events, these surfaces built from materials such as asphalt, cement, and concrete, along with rooftops, carry polluted stormwater to storm drains instead of allowing the water to percolate through soil. This causes lowering of the water table because ground recharge is lessened and flooding, since the amount of water that remains on the surface is greater. So basically, most municipal stormwater systems discharge stormwater untreated to streams, rivers, and bays. Again, you can see what's going on in the pictures. Now, can you identify any sources of pollutants in these areas? Well, it's going to come right from the home right here. And it's going to come right from the parking lot to the catch basin, from construction here, from buildings. Basically, water running off these impervious surfaces tends to pick up gasoline, motor oil, heavy materials, trash, and other pollutants from roadways and parking lots, as well as fertilizers and pesticides from lawns, roads, and parking lots, and their major sources of polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, which are created as combustion byproducts of gasoline and other fossil fuels, as well as of the heavy materials, nickel, copper, zinc, cadmium, and lead. Now, roof runoff contributes high levels of synthetic organic compounds and seep from galvanized gutters. Fertilizer use on residential lawns, parks, and golf courses is a significant source of nitrates and phosphorus. So as stormwater is channeled into storm drains and surface waters, the natural sediment load discharge to receiving waters, it decreases, but the water flow and velocity increases. In fact, the impervious cover in a typical city creates 5 times the runoff of a typical woodland of the same size. And that's a typical woodland of the same size. When we deal with woodlands, we're probably talking about forests. So this is why it's very important to understand the environment, clean water. And remember, we drink this water as well. Of course, you want to learn more, these are actual links that you can learn. Click on these links. And there are other, now this is just for Elkhart County, Indiana, but there are other soil and water conservation districts. In fact, I'm going to get more into the inspection of sediment and erosion control. Now, also what I'm going to do is I'm going to get back, I'm going to share this item information. Now, what does a permit look like? I'm going to click it on for you. Because about the municipal separate stormwater systems, where can I find the permit for MS4 entities in Indiana? Well, you're going to know right now. This is it right here. This is the stormwater permit right here. All this information, the table of contents, what you have to have in it, what it covers. I'm going to just go through it briefly. This is what it looks like. And it's good that you understand this, and this is for every type of construction and non-construction at a car wash. That's why in some apartment complexes, they don't want cars that have oil leaking, because when it rains, that oil can wash right down into the stormwater system. And generally, so many areas, they have what we call a negative or a reverse crown. Means it, instead of ascending up to a peak, it descends. That's what the negative crown is. This is that information. And this is all on the IDEM website. I'm scrolling down very fast so you'll know what's in this MS4 permit. And of course, this is all the designation criteria. So all the information, all the counties. And you have, as of April 13th, 2022, you have new information. And here are all your links. Now, all this, and all this is on the IDEM link here in Indiana. Now, every state has its own Department of Environmental Management. Something good about this is your what we call your NOI, your notice of intent. All on this site, doing all the work for you. Right here, your stormwater quality management plan. It's right here. Applying schedule, parts A, parts B, part C. And one thing you need to have, your monthly construction reports. And here are your item agency forms right here. So basically, when we deal with stormwater management, we're dealing with MS4s. And again, MS4 is a municipal separate state, correction, it's a municipal separate stormwater general permit. And again, we're dealing with storm sores, sanitary source. It's a separate permit. And again, MS4 is designed as a conveyance or system of conveyances owned by a city, state, town, or public entity that discharges waters of the United States, and it is designed or used for collecting or conveying stormwater. Regulated conveyance systems include roads with drains, municipal streets, catch basins, curbs, gutters, storm drains, piping, channels, ditches, and tunnels, and conduits. It does not include combined sewer overflows and publicly owned treatment works. And again, all this information is found right here on the set of item. Now again, just to get you back into the flow, as I go back, what does MS4 stand for? MS4 stands for, again, it stands for Municipal Separate Storm Water Systems. Again, storm water utilities are also referred to as MS4s or Municipal Separate Storm Sewer Systems. MS4s are designated entities to utilize conveyances, again, for rainwater, such as road with drainage systems. Just mentioned it early. This is from the item website. Municipal streets, curbs, gutters, ditches, or storm drains. Now, larger municipalities may have MS4 utilities structured in different ways within their city's operation, but the responsibilities and compliance to federal and state regulations remain the same. So in Elkhart County, the MS4 coordinator resides in a county office and oversees the greater Elkhart County partnership. And here's their information. And again, it's very, very good information. So that concludes this topic on the MS4 system. If you like what I just presented, please comment, share, and subscribe. And if you're looking for some social content, check out the 411 Talk Zone radio show. And all of my videos, for the most part, are every Wednesday. I'll talk about what's going on socially and politically. And you can also find me on the 411 Talk Zone radio show on YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Rumble, and Truth Social. Now, here on the QCIS channel, I do videos either Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. You can find me here on YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, or LinkedIn. And again, this information is for educational purposes. And I want you to understand what's going on with the environmental system out here, because when it comes to water, although it is abundant, a lot of water that we see out here is untreated. And my job is to educate you on what's going on with our environment, not just for construction, but for rainwater, for pesticides, for gasoline, for what's going on in the atmosphere. So again, Tell me what you think of this video. And once again, thank you for viewing this content from the QCIS channel. On this channel, I give you a daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. I want you all to have a wonderful and gracious evening.